Which kind of group can actually get you more clients? A Facebook group or a Slack group? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey, so I know that most people use Facebook groups as a default, and I totally get that. In fact, I do myself. But if you're a coach or you sell courses or whatever it is that you do, and you're utilizing any kind of group, you might be thinking or rethinking actually where you should host your group. Should you host it on Facebook? Should you host it on Slack? Should you host it on School? Should you host it on some other channel, some other software? And we're going to talk specifically about Facebook and Slack in this video in particular. And the reason is because I just want to compare those two. Now, let me just say something about School and Circle and some of these other ones. They're fine. But one of the things, and somebody that I actually follow mentioned this, but one of the things that I look at when I'm trying to pick a platform is I want to pick a platform that is going to meet my needs, not try to fit my needs into that platform. And then also I want to make sure that the platform that I'm picking wasn't exactly designed just by marketers. Okay, because marketers, they're not software developers, right? They might have an idea of what they want, but that's not their gig. So I was actually, like I said, one of the guys I follow mentioned that in an email the other day, and I thought, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I was thinking. So I wanted to say it to you. So let me just kind of talk about this a little bit. So Facebook groups, as we know, dominate. I mean, there's no comparison. That's just the way that it is. And there's some challenges there, and we're going to talk about each one and kind of the pros and cons of each one real quick. But I just want you to kind of think about what's best for your business right now and what might be best for your business in the future. And it may be a combination of both. Now, I realize that sounds like a lot and maybe it'd be some extra work, so maybe you don't want to do that. But in the beginning, you want to stick with something that you're going to just use on a regular basis. You just don't want to abandon your audience, and you want to learn how to use it effectively. So that's what I always see as the biggest problem, that the reason their Facebook groups don't turn into clients is they don't keep at it, right? They don't do it effectively. They do it a little while, or they're posting stuff that never gets any kind of engagement, and they think either something's wrong with their posts, or I don't know what else they're thinking. But the fact is that you have to know how to engage with your people, and that's what most people don't know, regardless of whether it's on Facebook or Slack. But for now, let's just talk about which platform is going to be better to suit your needs. So here's some things just kind of compare. First, Facebook obviously is going to have a much bigger audience, a lot more people to choose from, a lot easier to get people into the group because they're already there. Okay. With Slack, you don't have that, right? You're not going to be running ads there. You're not going to be promoting it on Slack where other people are going to see it. So you have to take people off of platform wherever they are and put them into Slack. So there's that. Now, the other thing that's kind of cool about Facebook is it could potentially promote your group, offer it up as suggested, and put it out there for other people to see it organically, where you're never going to get that with Slack. That's not how it's built. And if you don't use Slack now, let me just say this: Slack is, mostly used, like my team and I, we use it. And it's just a communication tool between us. Now, we can do other things with it where we connect other apps to it, like Asana, which we don't actually use Asana, but you can connect that. And you can do all kinds of things with it, but it's really just a communication tool. We actually put our clients in it. We set up what we call a project, and we put it in Slack, and then they communicate with me and my team through that project. So that's one of the helpful things in it. So the other thing about Facebook is they're already on Facebook. I think I kind of touched on that before, but they're already there. Your ideal audience is there. I don't care who your audience is. They're on Facebook. There's enough people on Facebook who want what you have to offer that you are never going to run out of potential clients there, as long as Facebook's around and as long as you can promote there. So that's one thing. Again, Slack's not going to be that way. There's no promotion. And Slack might seem like work because that's what most people, do with Slack. It's a work tool. But that also works to your advantage, right? Because if you're on Slack, you're not being distracted by all these things that are in your feed. So with Slack, you get their sole undivided attention, which is kind of cool. Some other things that are cool about Facebook is you can do polls, events, and go live in there. Those things are, and you still can do that, even though Facebook quote unquote took that away. There still are ways to do that, but you can do that. With Slack, you have some plugins that you can do some things, but it really depends on what you need for it to, if it meets your needs for what you want to try to do with the group. So when I say that, you have to think back to how are you going to convert the people coming into your group into clients? If you don't know how to do that, or if you've been doing a poor job of it, and be honest with yourself, have you been converting people into clients? And if you haven't, then is it the group, right? Is it your offer? Is it you? I mean, what is it? You need to figure that out, and you need to be able to have an honest conversation with yourself. And you may need somebody outside, who you're not friends with, that's just going to tell you what you want to hear, but somebody who might honestly look at it and say, hey, these are some issues that you're having. Let's see if we can't change those. The other thing that's kind of nice about Facebook is the social proof of it, right? You can see how many group members there are, and that, which is kind of a nice thing, but Slack, you're not really going to see that per se. You can sort of see that, depends on how you set it up. One thing about Facebook, another thing that you want to think about is your dependency on them. So if Facebook shuts your group down, which they do.
What? Why? No!
Sometimes no rhyme or reason, they just do. What are you going to do? So that's something that's really a negative about having a Facebook group, is their ability to do whatever they want whenever they want and with no recourse. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You can, beg and plead with them, and sometimes they'll give it back to you and sometimes they won't. But if you're dependent upon Facebook, that's a scary place to be. Now, when you're first starting out, I mean, you just do the best you can do, right? Make it simple for you. In Slack, you get a lot more control. You can talk about what you want. You can do it the way that you want, and you don't really have that fear because you're actually on their platform, and you're probably likely going to be paying a fee per month depending on how you set it up, okay? There's not, again, what we talked about before, distractions. So with Facebook, there's a lot of distractions. I mean, of course there is. And there's with Slack, you don't have that. It's just a focused environment that you can have their undivided attention for the time that they're there. One thing that you can't do on Facebook that would be nice is separate them out into subgroups. So you might, have a large group of people that, would benefit from being segmented out into groups A, B, and C for the different places that they are in whatever you're promoting. So if you're a health coach, right, maybe you have people in group A who really need to focus on their diet, and group B, their workout routine, and group C, their mindset, or whatever it is, right? And they could switch between groups. Well, you can do that with Slack. You're not going to be able to do that with Facebook so much. And then the direct messages, and this might be the key thing. So, when somebody joins your group, if you're trying to direct message them, you're probably not getting in front of them enough because they're just not seeing it. Or maybe they don't even have Messenger or use Messenger, so they're not seeing it, or you're not being dumped into their inbox, right? You're in the other messages. Well, with Slack, you're not going to have that problem. You have to put them there, and everybody's going to see your message as long as they're in Slack, right? They have to be using the app or whatever to see it, but as long as they are, they're going to see your message. So that's really kind of cool. Okay, let me just give you a quick summary. So Facebook's great for casting a wide net, and it's going to get you a lot more exposure whether you're growing it organically or with ads. Now, Slack takes much more effort and time, right? There's going to be a learning curve for you. There might be a learning curve for them. Plus, you're going to have to take that time and get them from Facebook, and if they've never used a Slack app, you're going to have to give them time to figure that out, and you're going to have to figure out what the best way it is to introduce it to the client or potential clients. So you have to be thinking about that. All right, and just kind of closing this out, if you're new or short on time or money or both, or maybe you already have a thriving community, then lean into Facebook. It's totally fine. It's not that you don't have to. But if you're thinking long term and you're willing to put in the extra effort, then Slack might be a much better place to grow your community and your coaching business. So I want you to think about that. Now, right now, just so you know, if you're having trouble growing your community or engaging in your community, either one, I have a course that I've put together with me and somebody that I've done a joint venture with who is amazing. Her name's Lori Dottie, and she has put together this amazing course about how to engage with your leads, how to direct message them, how to respond to them, how to hire a setter, if you want a setter to set your appointments for you, and how to do it all, and then how to close the sale using Messenger. It's really good. And then on top of that, we have my group building blueprint course, which is available as well. So if you're wanting something like that, or that sounds interesting to you, please just let me know. Drop me an email, because this is just coming out. We don't have everything set up yet, so some of it's still being beta tested depending on when you watch this. But you can email me, ben@onefocusmarketing.com, and I will get you the details on that. All right, I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.